We're having sharp until we get in the house.
Right, just be quiet till we get in the house.
Okay. Oh, hey, so he's got the bits of it. You just think of something else. Oh man, I'm gonna get killed when I get back to St Andrews. Fucking woman have killed me. She'll love it. She'll love it, but I mean... Have you ever thought of this to Courier, you know, like, this feels so good?
Yeah, I'm brilliant. I'm just full of confidence, aren't I?
No, that's really turning me on, you know.
No, you'll get it clogged up.
Oh, good, good. I'm not clogging the pen.
Okay, great. Well, what I suggest we do then, provided your car is locked or whatever, is it? Okay. Well, I'm told that people don't lock things around here, but it might be safe just to lock it. I suggest we go up to those crags there, then walk along.
What? Not in the field. Wouldn't be surprised. Not in the flood. Back to the flood.
Okay, the darker matrix. It's a more basaltic matrix. Now what I really would like you to do is to just features that we see on the island. And even some of the faulting, which is post-Mesozoic because it cross-cuts the sediments. It's very important to recognise that you actually have activity in a central area and you have faulting rather like radiating spokes from that central area. Now obviously once there is access, even if it's either bedding planes, fault horizons or thrust horizons, then your magmatism is very special and is picked out as characteristic of an environment which is related to the opening of the North Atlantic. And often in this type of environment we have ready access from magmas from the mantle, we have access from magmas which could be interacting in the lower. And the most amazing thing about this composite sill is is essentially a thin basaltic, relatively thin basaltic chilled margin. You can get the relative thickness. Now what is most unusual is that although you can see towards a composition equivalent to a mixture of half basalt and half felsite. In other words, you're getting your intermediate rock compositions. Now this makes everybody question fractionation. Does it really take place in this type of environment? But here you're getting intermediate compositions, and then it says zone 3, mixed rock becomes gradually more acid internally, and zone 4 right in the centre. And the other most curious thing, and which nobody can fully explain, is you actually get from the acid centre xenocryst, a complete mixing and diffusion pattern towards the centre. It's not yet totally complete, otherwise you wouldn't see the zonation. And when you get rough, you may have these composite sills in their own area. Because you think of the contrasting viscosities.
All the dye ones are still anyway.
And one maybe that one is still, but this is coming into the same fracture, exactly the same fracture. Think of the different solidus with the solidus temperatures. Think of the solidus temperatures, the granitic solidus. You may even brittly go. It should be brittly. But you do get a contrasting viscosity. So what you actually say is your granitic magma must have a solid times. In other words, a 600 is a wet granite. Right? There's are ejected at the same time, you know, and then streaked out. Or whether they are pulses that come in and they're a series. Now you would expect a series of tunes, but you get it from the temperature. It's a very dry ground. Probably mixing with a
Keep your tongue closer.
yeah, you've got a kind of temperature about up to about 900. Right. And even there, more silica. What the most critical thing is if you look at the techniques down from Sliggerhen, then along the side of Loch Sliggerhen, we've taken this minor road. We were originally opposite Rassy, then we swung round, and now we're opposite Scalpe, and we're just in this little bay here, a place called Mold. Now, if you can actually see this sketched in diagram, here's Loch Sliggerhen, so we've actually followed the road round, and then we've hit some of part of the western Red Hills. We're actually seeing the ring of them from Sliggerhen. And there's a particular rock type here which is highly unusual in that it's a mixture between the acid and basic components. Instead of it just being very diffuse and very fine grained and just the odd crystals, it's actually much more coarsely developed. Now there are two ways it can actually be seen. One is to follow the road, and that is just to, you probably noticed there were some bluffs as we came by. Skye is the name of it because it's partially hybridized granite facets of the form we made. You also get the same feature is a matrix, if you have a look at that, which has both dark components and light components in it. Sometimes it's finer grained, and these are. Now what I still haven't found the classic raindrop that things actually comes. That's what I mean by the classic raindrop. But I've got to be careful that's not just a surface feature. Now that is the best example of where you've got intermingling of basaltic and acid, and you just get little blebs. Eventually they do mix, and you actually end up with crystals which have often rims. For example, you can have little quartz as rims of amphiboles and so on. You can actually have amphiboles sometimes with rims of pyroxene. You get reverse reactions. Now, we're actually into this, and it is just possible. Okay. In other words, the matrix is slightly more basic in composition. The pink feldspars are more acid, and it's that mixing. That's actually how these type of rocks show up.
Something like that you would insulate if you've not very light. Okay.
Those of you that want to stir things with the classic igneous fractionation, you say, oh look, you can produce trachytes if you get the right mix. You get a very strong acid and a mild basic component. You can actually start to mix and end up ultimately with a trachytic composition. You'll always get the mineralogy, and the petrology proves it. But where you have out of equilibrium crystals, then I think that is supportive of the mixing hypothesis.
How do you prove it with isotopes?
You must have asked me that before, have you? No. The isotopes, well let me explain what happens with the isotopes. The isotopes are the granites, or the granitic, which have a very strong crustal component in them, and the meteorites and basalts and things have a very strong mantle component in them. And then as you go towards the trachytes, and as you go towards these, so they have mixtures of the two. It's published in the Journal of Petrology around about 1980-81, and the person is called Ian Dickin. If you look at Ian Dickin's work, you'll find he's discussed it. So yes, the Elysium can be a very significant component of the Journal of Petrology. Sorry? Journal of Petrology, that's right. Okay, folks. Not the driver, I don't expect you to be looking up there. But next time we pass Clemig, have a look. Okay.
I thought he was looking
A
at
roof pendant sitting right on top of one of the granite peaks. And what we've actually done, as we drove round the corner, I'm sure you all saw, you see it a lot clearer from the other side. That's one of the best examples where the original lava plateau has been penetrated. These are being pushed up as roof pendants. Some people will actually see it around the eastern red belt. One of the other things about the coolings themselves, this is a nice sort of gabbroic complex, which again has intruded in part in the southeast dike trend. All of you have seen these dikes, all of you started to pick them up. But all the jagged edged tops that you see on the coolings, these are multiple dikes. That's what the jagged outline is all about. The relatively intermixing of two extreme magma types. But we actually will see that, hopefully, in part of the lava succession to the north are actually matched by the equivalent tectonic features that we see around us in the southern part of the island of Skye. Okay? Well, now we're going to head up to Portree. Before we turn and travel west across the lava plateau, we're going to try and stop in Portree for about 5 minutes. Those of you with bankers' cards can get some money out of the cash dispensers there as well.
Adrian, put it away.
God's sake.
And at the top of the hill is a rock island called Meteorite. Any of you come across this stone? Yeah. I think he's mentioned it in the right. So what is Meteorite?
This is radio travel.
Oh, nou, die hebben er hier sheep van.
We don't have sheep.
At least the sheep move less than that. It's too dark.
Put away. What, right on?
Yeah. Much better if you didn't do it. Yeah, I can't. I think when you choose shops, they have like 3 reasons to choose what you could possibly buy, sort of thing. You know, where to start? I think it should be like a standard shoe. So it's easier to shop. We've been rumbled again.